Hello, good evening, welcome. We are here for another Morgan Podcasting Network live broadcast. We're going to give you a little flavor of two different shows this evening. Helping me do that, my name is Rod Morgan, by the way. I will serve as your host. Helping me do all of that is the man you hear laughing there. He makes all this happen. He's the executive producer of this podcast. He will host a little bit later when we do a wrestling podcast for you. That man is Jimmy Jamriska. Jimmy, hello.
Rod, it is very good to be here. Very good to be back after, just a week off, I guess, but it seems like forever. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm pretty excited about that, especially little sign of things to come. Really want to talk about some indoor golf. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's right. We have baseball starting up. Not going to talk about that on this podcast. We have the Final Four rounding into shape this weekend, meaning the Final Four is being played. Not going to talk about that on this podcast.
Nope.
The NFL draft. We will get to the NFL draft. Our guy Josh Williams is going to be joining us soon. I've been in communication with him. He's been in the Caribbean, right? That's what he does, Jimmy. When it's not the football season, he gets to take all the winnings that he has from all the bets he doesn't tell us about on the show.
Doesn't talk about on our show. Yeah.
All those
Shout
bets, and he goes off
fans.
into the Caribbean, and then he comes back to us. He wanted to talk college football, Jim, and I gave him the Heisman. Not college football, college basketball. And I gave him the Heisman. I said, Williams, no. I haven't watched a second of it. Jimmy, does that make me a bad person that I'm now over college basketball?
No, I've kind of been over college basketball for a little while now, Rod. It's just, I don't know. There's so many things in your life that you have time for, and that's just not one of them. Especially, let's take our Indiana Hoosiers, okay? 0 people from the team last year, including like the strength trainer and the basketball operations guy, are not coming back. There's nobody coming back. And like you said, with Roberts coming in, hey, Roberts, how are you? College basketball just really, it doesn't do it for me anymore. I think Cooper Flagg's kind of cool, but other than that, I really don't care.
See, Cooper Flagg, there you go. You said the only thing that I never care about college basketball for is tell me who are the guys who are going to be the top 10 picks. Let me see a chance to see them before they come into my beloved NBA. And speaking of coming in to something beloved, a dear friend of ours, we love it anytime we can get him on the podcast. And I'm going to throw it to him on cold, off the jump. You're going to see the talent that this man has right now. He had no idea what we'd be talking about when he came in. He had no idea what question I was going to give him first. But Roberts is kind of a softball. How much of this year's college basketball tourney did you watch? Because Jimmy and I just admitted we didn't watch as much as we have in years past.
Do you want the sports fan answer or the real answer?
We need the real answer. That's why we love Roberts.
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I've watched less than 4 minutes of any bit of this tournament. Maybe some highlights. That's it. To see if my over covered. That's about it.
You degenerate.
And it didn't. So I turned it off.
Yeah, I hate sounding like the old guy, but I just yearn for the days when I had an idea of who was going to be on a team. I had an idea what conference that team was in, and I'd seen guys play games against one another, and then it meant something when the tournament came around. And so I have been out on college basketball for a while. Jimmy, I also like what you said. I don't want to sound like we're just attacking the game here because frankly, I don't have the time for it anymore. I have introduced 6 hours of wrestling into my life. And frankly, I don't put that onto college basketball. That's not their fault. They didn't ask me to bring in 6 hours of wrestling a week. I chose to bring in 6 hours of wrestling because I find that entertaining. And we will cover wrestling later in this podcast. We will at some point also have another pop in. Our normal co-host Chris King will be joining us soon, but something tended to his maintenance needs, and he is out taking care of that, and then he will join us. But Mr. Roberts, you are here as Jimmy and I. Oh, Chris is coming in right now. Look at this. We can bring Chris in now.
Let's talk to him about some college basketball because he does have some thoughts. I think
I'll just sit in the back while you guys talk college basketball. You guys just hang out, do your thing.
Roberts will be back to you in a second.
Don't worry.
Chris, we started college basketball, and we were trying to talk about it with you not here, but you popped in just at the end so you can have your take. All 3 of us have admitted to not watching much of the tournament. Chris, save this podcast.
Okay, yeah, for all intents and purposes, this has been a boring bracket, right? We got all 4 number 1 seeds in the Final Four. You know, no one wants to who do you root against essentially in this for? Like if this isn't one of your teams, you don't have an underdog to root for really. So the regulars out there who don't watch it year long don't have anything to invest in right now. It's unfortunate.
Do you still find yourself investing as much as you have in the past, though? Because I think what Roberts and Jimmy and I have kind of hit upon here is that it takes so much investment now to know who's on a team. So, like, that's you got to put in, you got to be fresh churned at the beginning of every season to figure out which teams are going to be good and who's where.
Let's be fair. We're definitely a lot older now than we were, 20 years ago when we didn't have as much responsibilities to take care of and worry about. So we had less bandwidth taken up that we could fill with a year-long college basketball season, right? So we do have to pick and choose. So, like, I'll admit, I don't watch as much of the March Madness that I used to. Used to take off that first Thursday and Friday from work, right? And just binge watch it all day long. I don't do that anymore. And even though IU wasn't in it, I guarantee you I was watching those Purdue games, hoping, praying, rooting that they would lose until they did.
Chris, we talked about this. Chris, we talked about this right before you got on. One of the reasons why it's you don't know these guys anymore. For example, IU, Chris, literally everyone in the entire program from director of operations to the water boy is gone. All new people coming in. Are you excited about that, or is it just like, what's going on?
Yeah, I think it's a breath of fresh air. I think that this type of coach that's coming in is what IU fans like. I think you're going to see some transfers from some of his former schools come in that are going to play basketball the way our fans like. It's not, listen, this is the type of sports that apparently we like to consume. Players changing teams a lot. People are fans of the players, not so much of the teams, and that's coming back down into college basketball. So that's what it is. This is the life of the NIL. We wanted players to get compensation, and they have this freedom now, so this is what we have to deal with.
I love that. Every argument about college basketball now ends with, well, you wanted the players to get paid, and now they're getting paid, so you just got to deal with it. And you know what, Chris? You're absolutely right. I don't want the players to not get paid, so if this is the world we have to live in, then this is the world we have to live in. But as you said, we can choose. I choose to not watch that. What I did spend hard-earned evening time watching recently was a new sport created out of thin air with the power of one Eldrick Tiger Woods. So if golf is coming up now, you loyal Morgan, listeners are like, this is why Roberts is popping up in the corner. Some golf conversation is happening. Mr. Roberts not only was working as a pro-ish assistant pro. What was the title when you worked at the golf course, Mr. Roberts?
I went from assistant pro to first assistant pro to get me the hell out of the golf business.
There we go. So he got, so what I'm saying is he's good at real golf, and now he is in the video golf business. So he's literally the perfect person to try to explain to Chris and Jimmy, who have no idea what the TGL is. Mr. Roberts, there might even be listeners who have no idea what the TGL is, but I know you and I know.
I played Golden Tee before, Rod. I know what video golf is. I played Golden Tee.
I played Tiger Woods 97.
You're going to bring up Golden Tee as the video golf game? Tiger Woods.
That's virtual golf, right? Virtual golf, Golden Tee.
I guess. I don't want to give you that. I don't want to agree with you on that. That's a parlor trick conceived as a video game.
Roberts, I literally thought when I heard you were into virtual golf, I thought it was Golden Tee. Like, that's the first thing that popped in my head. Legitimately, I heard virtual golf. I'm thinking Golden Tee? Is it a new improved version?
More respectable if you would have thought like it was Wii Golf as virtual golf and not Golden Tee.
You hate Golden Tee, Rod.
No.
Next episode, we're talking to Roberts about his hatred for Golden Tee.
I like Golden Tee. It's not virtual golf.
Look at you.
I don't know where Chris got the word virtual anyway. I believe I said
it's not
video.
Fake, all right?
Yeah.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Still real to me.
All of us got there. That's great. I believe I said video golf as well. I don't think I said virtual at any point, Chris. So you just got virtual.
Virtual came from the text thread.
Well, first off, what I work with is not just virtual golf. It's sports technology. Okay, it's data, it's analytics. The virtual golf is just the icing on the cake, if you will. It's great. I didn't wear this hat, by accident. I work for a direct competitor of the sports technology for Full Swing, or I'm sorry, for TGL. I love it. I think TGL's great. I think there needs to be improvements 100%, but it's building on something. It's fun. You're seeing a side of golf from guys you don't see. You're getting to see them hit bad shots, funny shots, hear them talk back and forth, work through things for a golf nerd like myself. I love it. It's the same way I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on Balls and Brews, Morgan, all this. When you hear the conversation between a caddy and a golfer, to me, that is like somebody who's into cars listening to a Ferrari run down a track. I have that same, I know what they're talking about. Ooh, they're trying to do that. That's risky. Like, it just does something to me. So I love that part of TGL. The only thing of TGL that I don't like, and I think it's the format. They go these 3-way matches, then to single matches. The match can be over halfway through. They did make an adjustment. Rod, you and I chatted kind of offline about the hammer stuff. You had no idea what the hammer. It used to be one hammer.
No idea.
It went back and forth. For people that don't know, the hammer is basically a way to double your bet down. So now a hole that's worth 1 point, if you accept the hammer, now it's worth 2. If you decline the hammer,
name.
Yeah, it's great. Well, that's a golf betting term. Hammer down. We're pressing. We're doing this. So, I like that stuff that it's going through. I think there's great potential for it. But I do think it needs to be tweaked slightly. And I unfortunately don't have that answer of what's going to make it better.
Jimmy Jam.
Okay.
So you said Tiger Woods, right? So picture
and you're missing Rory.
These guys.
Rory's the other half of this equation. It's not just Tiger. They went together on this. Yes,
No,
Tiger's
Tiger
the
was on
driving
Xbox.
force. But, yeah, Tiger doesn't have an Achilles, so he can't be a part of this right now.
But Jimmy, they get to play holes like we played on Tiger Woods, right? Like they got water everywhere, they got weird little fairways that they got to hit that have water all around it. They got volcanoes. I don't know if they had any volcanoes, but they could have volcanoes. They had deserts.
Yep.
They had wolves. I don't know if they had wolves, but they could have wolves if they should. That would be an improvement, Robert. More wolves. I think that wolves add ambiance to a lot of situations. So look into that.
Yeah,
But Chris,
I think you can add wolves.
You like competition, right? So, I mean, this is fast paced. I think the other thing that Roberts didn't mention is we have a shot clock. So, Chris, imagine you had a microphone on the course with the player and the caddy, and they had a shot clock to hit their actual approach to the green. That's sort of what TGL brings to you. It just unfortunately brings it to you with a video screen because, Chris, then that allows you as a spectator to sit and see all of the action and have someone bring refreshments to you. So what sounds bad about it?
Nothing really sounds bad about that. That's what you would want, especially if you're going to be in the audience during this event and you're watching the video screen as well as the players, right? You want to have a quick turnaround. You don't have to wait for a guy to walk across 300 yards of fairway or cut to another fairway to watch somebody else. Like, everybody's right there raring to go. I'm saying all this not having seen TGL,
right? But no,
right?
see, that's what I want to do here. What Roberts and I are trying to do is sell you and sell anybody else who's never seen it, and that's the biggest aspect, I think, Chris. You just hit on it there.
Well,
it speeds up the game of golf.
Because the one thing I have heard is there has been a putt heard round the world apparently at the final of this, and
It was a big
my
putt.
question is if I am a spectator either at the event or on TV, how does that appear? What am I actually watching? Is a guy on a green on a stage? Okay.
So to break it down, you've got golfers hitting real shots. They're hitting their drivers. They are teed up into grass. They're hitting out of the rough. They're hitting out of the sand. They're hitting to a screen. It's the biggest simulator golf screen you are ever going to see.
And all of these elements exist in the arena, Chris, right? They have one spot in the arena that's a green, right? And then they have a spot that's the sand trap around the green. Then they have a spot that's for hitting out of the rough, the tee box, all of that stuff, right?
So people are walking around and moving to different areas.
A little bit. So
correct.
If you
Does
think
the
of
green? Can the green move?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Like
Roberts
how do
the
you?
green? This is the coolest thing about it.
I'm going to get you this. So think of it like a compass. Everybody's hitting their shots north. So you're hitting off the grass, you're hitting out of sand, you're hitting out of rough, you're hitting the screen. Once you get inside 50 yards, you basically walk to the back of the stadium. There they have a giant green. This green rotates. They have pistons that will shift up and down to change the undulation of the greens. There's sand traps. There's rough. So you're hitting real shots into the green. You're getting people to hole out. You're getting great chip shots. You're getting different putts on the same type of green. So there is some of this
it's
crazy.
a physical hole.
It's a physical
green.
hole that you're
Correct.
going to.
You're not hitting it in
Correct.
the screen
You have
anymore
to
with
make
the
the
putt,
putt.
like you do like at a golf simulator.
Yep. And that's arguably, I mean, there are other great virtual golf softwares that do putting. Marvelous. Like great putting skills on their stuff. For this type of simulator, for the type that I work with, putting is, to be honest, the thing that's probably the most lacking involved. And I say that as respectfully as possible. It's hard to hit a golf ball to a screen with a putter and feel like you're putting. Yeah. It just is.
It's the same for me either way. I'm not going to make it.
I've never seen you putt, but I've heard about it. It doesn't matter. So you'll be fine. No. But these guys are putting.
5 putting is fine. Thank you.
If it's a par 10, maybe. I'm guessing. But
these guys. Par was how many putts? Anyway.
But then, Chris, we got big boards too, right? We got big boards and we got stuff up at the screen at all times, letting you know who's up on the hole, who's next on the hole, what shot they're at, how far they're actually away. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff's coming at you. Matt Barry, I believe the guy's name was, who did most of the play-by-play duties. He was really, really good.
He's great.
They had great like drone angles and stuff, So think of it. Okay, have you ever been to medieval times, Chris? You've probably been to medieval times in your time, right?
He was literally in medieval times.
I was saying I lived through some of that, Rod. So
that's kind of what it is, right? Like we have a big bowl and everybody's down in it, and then everybody sits up around it. You know what I mean? And other than that, it's all video cameras. Yeah.
How do they do it? But how do you do a 3v3 like you said? What is that about? Like how do you have
shot?
It's alternate shot for sure. So, if you're a 3-man rotation, your 1-man hits the tee ball, your 2-man hits the next shot.
Oh, so you have
ball, and you just go.
You actually have a team.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
that's probably the thing that we've missed out the biggest part of their teams. So it's not an individual sport. It's you got 3-guy teams. You got what?
A little more like Ryder Cup.
Boston, Atlanta, New York, Florida. I think there's 2 or 3 teams in LA. So it's a total team aspect. But when you get towards the end of the match, you're doing singles matches like Ryder Cup, but your singles matches count towards the team score. So I love team golf. Everybody, I've never made it shy that my favorite golf event ever is the Ryder Cup. I think it's the greatest thing to happen to golf other than the Masters.
Okay, so one thing about the putting green, and then I want to talk about the software because I know you know a little bit about that. How do they change the holes? Is it just like
they don't. So they can.
So for every single hole, the hole itself is in the same part of the green?
The hole itself is in the same portion, but this green rotates 360 degrees. So when you walk back towards the green on one hole, the pin might be on the left side of the green. When you go to the next hole, the pin's on the right side of the green because this rotates. And then with the way it goes, shapes
the undulation or whatever you
undulation,
said? Okay.
Great word. Good job, Jimmy. I'm proud of you.
I listen.
So you could have the ball in the exact center of the green and not have the same putt at any point ever. They can make it do whatever they want.
Okay, and then so from what I'm looking on TGL, they're not real They're not real courses that we're doing. Correct? They're virtual golf courses. So talk to me. What goes into this from your perspective, because you don't know the TGL, and that's fine. What goes into making a good virtual golf course hole?
When you're doing holes like this that are imaginative, they are created, you want risk reward. You want the guy who, can I carry this ball 315 yards over the water and give myself a 75-yard shot in? Or do I have to play outright the 250-yard shot and then have a 200-yard shot in? So you got to have some cool, it's worth it for me to try to hit it as hard as I can. You got to have cool backgrounds. You want it to keep your attention. We're sharing some screens here. Yeah. Like cliffhanger on that way that we're looking out on the right. Like, who wouldn't want to hit a shot? I'm assuming that's into the green area that way, that's hanging over the water, and you're never going to lose a golf ball, so you can hit it however you want. It's no big deal. That's, a big perk of indoor golf. It's just something to keep your attention, something you haven't seen before, like Temple. Temple's a great shot. That middle of that hole, I think, is 315, 310 yards. So if you can hit a ball 310 yards right down the middle, you can cut everything off. If not, now you're coming back and you're playing back in that more wide part and giving yourself a harder second shot in. There's one hole there that has a sand trap right down the middle of the fairway. That's like 10 yards wide. The guy hit a ball 320 flipping yards, and it landed in the middle of the sand trap. You couldn't hit a ball that straight if you freaking tried.
I have designed and built a whole lot of courses in Tiger Woods, Roberts. Would I be able to submit those and maybe get a job with one of these companies?
You would have to call the technology provider for the TGL on their animation or design department. But possibly, shoot for the stars. Maybe you get the sky if you miss. What's the saying? I'm kind of dumb on that.
TGL was a lot of fun. I suggest people give it a shot when it comes back around next year. It sounds like it is. As Mr. Roberts said, they're going to make some tweaks. I think that it will be improved, much like MTV's Rock and Jock softball game back in the day, right, Chris? Like, if you watch the original runs of the softball game, not nearly as good as the last few years, right? They figured out how to make the smaller porch. They made sure they got enough people in there could actually hit home runs. We had extra points for stolen bases. They'll figure things out.
Well,
no doubt.
And we'd like to see this as amateur golfers at best. We would like to see this proliferated so it becomes more the norm, so people like us can maybe get into local games and local leagues, just like your local beer league softball or what have you, right?
It's the new pickleball.
Yep. I think that's a
it's
great idea,
weird.
Chris.
If you guys
That's a very
only
good
knew
thought.
somebody who designed and built places like that to go and do this. It's crazy. You should look into it some.
We do have a YouTube channel. Perhaps that's some content for the YouTube channel right there, Jimmy. Listen to how I bring in the last thing we want to talk to Mr. Roberts about this. This is the podcasting school is finally paying off, Jim, here, all right? So you can design your temple and you can design your clubhouse holes all you want, but all of us got excited when they finally got Augusta playable for the PlayStation, because the Masters matters more than anything else in golf, and the Masters, friends, is just around the corner. You can see the azaleas, they're blooming, the grass is green, the yellow flags are waving, the pimento sandwiches are being spread. Folks are getting excited for the Masters. Roberts, we got you on a little earlier than we normally do. A lot of times we get you crammed in. You're probably having your thoughts come out when the Masters is actually happening. This year we got you ahead of time. People have chance to play on their phones the way that you said you were with the college basketball tournament. So what should folks be looking out for at the final tournament this weekend before the Masters next weekend?
This weekend's going to be a tune-up. I mean, you're going to see guys that I don't think anybody has won the tournament before the Masters that goes on and wins the Masters. So not that that's a curse. People aren't going to try to not win a golf tournament. But you're just going to see tune-up. You're going to see these guys hitting shots, probably already trying to practice shots that they're going to be hitting next week. It's on their mind. I hate to say this because you never want to diminish any field, but a lot of times this week is the guys that are trying to win this tournament to get into the Masters. The guys who are really trying to work on the Masters are at Augusta already. They're working on it. They're there. They're grinding. They're doing everything to get ready. But we got 11 days before the greatest tournament every year. We're stoked, man. The place is greening up. I've already seen some footage. I've been watching the girls Augusta National Amateur. They don't play at Augusta till Saturday, but watching that today and hearing all of them getting their chance to possibly play Augusta, it's just getting me pumped up for it.
I was listening to Dan Patrick today, and he hit upon the biggest storyline probably left at Augusta, because we have no Tiger. Tiger's hurt. He's not going to be there. So the biggest storyline left at Augusta, you mentioned his name earlier when we were talking about the Video Golf League. We all would love to see the man, Rory McIlroy, complete his career Grand Slam. And Dan Patrick had the phrase, and Jim Nantz said that he'll say it if it happens, glory for Rory. Mr. Roberts, what are the chances for our guy?
What's it been since you've been doing this now? Years? Other than when I said Dustin Johnson winning the Masters, I think I've said Rory McIlroy is going to win the Masters every year. It's that.
Let's be consistent.
It's the sickness of just wanting it for him. It's the last thing he's grasping at for golf immortality. He does that. You just want it to happen. Fortunately for him, he's playing well. He's won some tournaments already this year. He's hitting the ball well. We'll see.
But this is the tournament where that happens, right? That's why I think we get excited for Rory here. This is the tournament where it happens. This is where Freddie Couples won, right? Mr. Roberts, this is where Freddie got his tournament, right? Sergio got a Masters, right? Phil got a Masters, like all the guys that we were excited to get a green jacket, right? They all won. Tiger got his first green jacket here and went over and hugged his dad. You know what I mean? Tiger got his last green jacket and went over and hugged his son. This is the tournament that makes those moments, and Rory is the last moment. Chris, you can't poop on that, right? You got to love Rory too.
Will I be upset if Rory wins? No. Will I be very happy? Not really, because that means my guy's not going to win. Because I
wasn't aware Drew McIntyre was entered in the field, Chris.
No, him and LA Knight were both did not quite make the cut, I'm afraid. No, I'm talking about Colin Morikawa. I've been on this guy for a while. I think it's his time to finally break through. I think he gets his green jacket.
A two-time major winner breaking through. Yeah.
He doesn't care about you, Chris. He doesn't need you. He doesn't even want to do interviews with the press. He doesn't need the press. He doesn't need anyone to follow his career, Colin Morikawa.
Chris read the meme about the 47 stats that attribute to a Masters winner, and Colin Morikawa just happens to fall into it. So he's the trendy pick right now.
Roberts thinks I read memes.
I forgot.
Chris doesn't.
You saw the
memes.
scroll of it delivered by pigeon.
Jimmy Jam, come on. What are your Masters thoughts? I know that you're deep in the PGA lore. Jimmy Jam, what do you got going into the Masters this year?
I go with Roberts every year, so I've lost $5 a year for the past 7 years. Thanks a lot, Roberts. Appreciate that.
So I didn't say Rory was my pick. I just said that's what I've been picking.
Do you want to give a pick now, or do you want to come back on next week and give a pick?
Okay, thank you.
Rory, of course.
Rory.
No, a real pick. I mean, honestly, I think you're dumb if you don't look at Scotty. He hasn't been playing great, but it's Scotty, so what's going to happen? But I think I said it last year that I loved his talent. He was contending. He hasn't done a whole lot this year, but Ludwig is probably going to be up there. And America's new golf sweetheart, Bryson.
How come Ludwig gets in there, but Drew doesn't? Tell me that.
Ludwig, you must eat.
Can every potential golfer in America who's thinking about picking up the game or playing anything fun model their game after Ludwig? Don't take 75 practice swings. Get up, take one, hit the ball, and move on.
That's all you need.
And then, just swing as good as him and you'll be fine. But that's way easier said than done.
Final question.
I'll take Rory to answer that early question. He's going to win it.
Roberts, my final question here. My guy, after watching TGL, is now Xander Schauffele. Love Xander. Loved his personality. Laid back, cool. Enjoyed him down there on the course. My guy that I am now anti because of TGL is, of course, none other than Justin Thomas and anyone else associated with that team. So please tell me that nobody is going to be pulling off the rare and first time ever TGL championship and then a Masters green jacket.
Well, out of that Atlanta group, Justin maybe, but I doubt it. That they were hard to watch to win it. And I like Justin Thomas. I like Billy Horschel. I'm not a huge Patrick Cantlay guy.
Billy was the worst.
But yeah, they were cocky and they deserved it. They played better than anybody else. They win the championship. They do all that, but you're not going to see a TGL Masters this year.
Not this year, but perhaps in the future, it'll be looked at as
next
a
year
nice
when Tiger
warm-up
wins
to
the
a green
TGL
jacket.
championship and then Tiger wins the Masters. So
Let's go. Listen, we'd love to see Tiger come back and play golf again sometime. We just would. So shout out to Tiger. I know he's a big-time listener. Tiger, don't think we weren't thinking of you, my man. We want you to get better, all right? Just focus on yourself, you know? Mr. Roberts, I don't think you want to stick around and talk much wrestling with us, but Jimmy Jam has a couple of NBA thoughts, and I know you check in on the NBA game from time to time. So you got a couple more minutes for us, or do you
Sure,
need to
buddy.
do you need to take off? All right,
do your
let's
thing.
throw it over to the executive producer of this podcast, the host of the NBA Fast Break, one James Thomas Jamriska.
Welcome to the Fast Break, the fastest, about 6 minutes in the NBA. You are with Jimmy, Rod, Chris, and Roberts. And one day when I find my hard drive, we will have the intro music back, I promise you. We have to talk, of course, about the reigning, defending champion of the Wins League. Gentlemen, we have to come up with something better next year. It's embarrassing for everyone. 417 wins. You're looking at him right here. To 371 for Rod and 353 for Chris King. It is a shellacking, and I love it. Real quick, my best pick was the Houston Rockets, second to last pick with 50 wins.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Listen, kudos.
That was a hell of a pick.
Kudos.
It didn't hurt that I also picked the Cavs and the Thunder. Did I just pick them all straight and then you guys went? Like, what happened there?
You were the snake, though. That definitely did help you because you were the snake and you got bam, bam. You had two dudes that were big-time picks.
Although my worst pick was actually not even my pick. My worst pick was for Rod. I gave Rod the Detroit Pistons as a horrible pick.
Which I called as a mistake.
42 wins. Good job
I called
there,
that
Rod.
as a mistake when you did that. When you did that, I said, that's a mistake,
It was.
Jimmy. But that's
It
the only
was.
mistake you made because, as you said, your draft record is sparkling. Chris, I don't know what we were thinking about on the Rockets. Like, do you remember why we let the Rockets stick around that long, Chris?
I don't think either one of us thought they were going to go from like 23 wins to 50, right? We thought maybe they'd improve to like 35 wins, but not to 50.
Yeah. Also, I think I might have picked the Hornets. What was I thinking about there? That's insane.
See, Hornets was your last pick. So it was either Hornets, Jazz, or Raptors. So you should have actually picked the Raptors in that case, but that's a 28-win team.
I know better than to pick and one street ballers, and that's all LaMelo Ball is. He's not interested in playing real basketball. He's not interested in playing team basketball, any kind of NBA concepts. He's just interested in making the fans ooh and ah.
Chris King, Indiana Pacers, 45 wins. And then actually the Bulls too. Your last three picks weren't too bad. You had the Pacers, Bulls, and Raptors. So, Roberts, I want you to be a judge for me, though. You got to be a judge. All right. I'm going to give Rod about 1 minute, and I'm going to give Chris about 1 minute. We're going to talk about the MVP. And Roberts, you're going to say who the MVP is. Rod is going to have Nikola Jokic. Chris is going to have Jason Tatum. No, Chris is going to have SGA. I want to know, Rod, while Jokic should be the MVP in the NBA this year. Go.
If we're giving the NBA's MVP to the actual best player in the NBA, then we have to give it to Nikola Jokic, okay? If there's some sort of fine print that's written there in the bylaws for the NBA MVP that says if there's fatigue and players and voters don't want to vote for a guy because he's won 3 out of the last 5 MVP awards, then I'm sorry. Fill me in on that. But it doesn't exist. So you have to go for the guy who literally is putting up a better season now than he ever has in the past when you already awarded him the MVP award. So the fact that we're literally just going to give it to a guy in Oklahoma City whose team is really, really good, who's also good, don't get me wrong, but because the other guy already has won 3, that's not a sound reasoning to me. So there's only one vote for the MVP, the just vote for the Serb, Nikola Jokic.
About 51 seconds there, Rod. That is timing. Chris King, why should SGA be the MVP? Chris, you there?
Okay, I'm back. That was
Okay,
weird. Yes,
fair enough.
SGA.
Okay, so-
There is only really one MVP that's in this league, all right? We have been told sport after sport, year after year, the MVP is the best player on the best team. And the Oklahoma City Thunder is the best team in the NBA. And who is the best player? Well, that's Shea, all right? There is nobody else that you can even point to that is even doing the things that Oklahoma City is this year. 32 points a game, 5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, shooting 52% from the floor, 90% free throw shooting, 38% from 3, 2.7 stocks per game. This guy does everything for Oklahoma City. All right, I know Jokic is having a career year, but this is SGA's time. This is the Oklahoma City Thunder's year, and
All right,
SGA's
Chris, there
MVP.
you go. I gave you about 7 extra seconds because you just stared at us for a little bit there. Actually, both really compelling arguments. Roberts, I'm curious, who do you think is going to be the MVP based on those arguments there?
Now, as a judge, am I supposed to be impartial?
I just don't understand why it's so hard for people to understand things. No, go ahead.
No,
I hate Jokic.
No, I don't. I have a problem with the argument of we've been told the MVP is the best player on the best team. It's not the most valuable player on the most valuable team. It's the most valuable player. And if you've won one and you're doing things that you haven't done before, and you're obviously the best player, it shouldn't matter what team you're on. So I don't like that argument with an MVP. I think that they are both right there. If you're doing things better than when you already won an MVP, I don't understand how you're not an MVP. I'm not saying anything against SGA. The dude's a stud, 100%. I barely watch basketball, and he's like one of the 5 people that I know, so he's obviously doing something right. It's hard to argue with a guy who just did a 60, 10, and 10, who's been doing it all year. I mean, SGA is not averaging a triple-double. That was the biggest thing in the world when Russell Westbrook wins an MVP, averages a triple-double, and this guy seems to do it 6, 7, 8 years in a row. What's the problem with continuing to be the best? So I'm going Jokic, but I'm probably in the minority.
Okay, Jokic is your MVP for the NBA. Rod, I think it's really ironic that you were screaming on the top of every hill you could that you can't give Jokic 3 in a row because he can't be one of the best players ever, but you think 3 out of 5 is okay, correct?
Well, see, at this point, I have more evidence from the man that shows me that
one of the best players ever.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he basically just like every year since I've said that has just gotten better. So, you know what I mean? He just continues to, and I try to be a Renaissance man. I try to be agreeable and see what is in front of me and be willing to change my opinion from time to time. And so I've been flat wrong on Jokic, right? He's a killer. What do you got against the guy?
Chris, do you actually think SGA should be the MVP, or you think Jokic should be?
I think it should be Jokic. I really do. If I'm to believe, which I do, that Karl Malone didn't deserve an MVP, it should have went to Michael Jordan. If I'm to believe, which I do, that LeBron James probably deserved a couple of MVPs that he didn't win, you know what I mean? Like, I truly believe the MVP is for the best player in the league, and Jokic is the best player in the league, bar none, hands down. He has this bad defensive cloud sort of that follows him around, and like he's good enough, he's serviceable enough with the size in his hands, right? And then there's this narrative that Shea's a really, really good defender, and like, okay, he gambles a little bit and gets steals, and he's tall for a guard, so he gets some blocks, but he's like the 5th best defender on his team. His coach will say that, he'll say that, and his teammates will say that. So I don't know how the 5th best defender on a team has such a great defensive presence. And all I'm trying to say here is there's little nitpicks on both sides, but there's not a nitpick of who the best player in the league is. It's Jokic, and it's been Jokic. Give him the MVP.
All right, Chris King, who do you think is the actual MVP?
Oh, it's Jokic.
Okay.
I didn't believe a word I said. Let me start off with this, all right? All right. Jimmy put me on the spot, and I had to shoot from the hip. But I will say, though, is this is exactly what we're told every year in the NFL. Joe Burrow can't be the MVP. The Bengals didn't even make the playoffs when he was by far the most valuable player.
If you had Chris take some random shot at the NFL on your bingo card, check it off. We got there tonight.
Yeah, Joe Burrow of the Port St. Lucie Bengals apparently coming up when they move in a year. But anyway, So that's all I wanted to hit on the NBA. If anyone have anything huge to hit on before we go to wrestling?
Yeah, I want to just do a quick little Rod Damnation here for the Memphis Grizzlies. What are you guys doing? Honestly, what are you doing? Why are you firing an entire assistant coaching staff, paying 2 guys top dollar, having a bidding war for a guy that you then fire, okay? You fire your head coach with 9 games remaining when your team is in the playoffs, never before done in history. Like, fire Taylor Jenkins at the beginning of the year or just wait till your team flames out in the playoffs. Like, I just don't understand any of the reasoning behind why you fired this guy to make your organization look like an absolute clown show. Now, I understand that guys will move on in the NBA an awful lot and do well at their next stop. I believe Taylor Jenkins will be one of those guys, and that doesn't reflect bad on the Grizzlies. What reflects bad on the Grizzlies is you bring in an assistant coach that knows nothing about the NBA, never coached in it before. You expect your players to follow that guy's system. The players don't follow that guy's system, and you fire the head coach that didn't hire the assistant coach anyway and promote the assistant coach to interim coach with 9 games remaining. It's absolutely clown show out of the Memphis Grizzlies. And perhaps that's the reason that Ja Morant has acted like a clown the past 3 years, because nobody down there holds anybody accountable.
That was also, they were in like either 4th or 5th when this all happened. And they have just obviously bottomed out now. They're in 8th right now. But yeah, Chris, this is something that just doesn't happen in the NBA and for a playoff team.
Well, and it's, Memphis has been one of these organizations that we thought had a different type of culture, right? Where it was supposed to be, this blue collar type, we work hard, we get things done type culture. And something has obviously happened to break that down, or it was all a facade in the first place and it wasn't really there.
Hey, Roberts, are you excited to have Taylor Jenkins as the Phoenix Suns head coach next year?
Sure. If I watched the Phoenix Suns on a regular basis, I would 100% would.
I just wanted to get a Phoenix Suns jab in there because they're totally firing Budenholzer.
Yeah, well, I mean, they got Kevin Durant, so that's cool for now.
Yeah, he's going to get traded.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's going to be a Pacer next year, I heard.
Ooh. Why not?
Yeah. And by hearing, I just made that up for fun.
You just made it up right there?
Yeah.
Love that.
They would literally they would literally have to give up 8 players to get him because to match salaries, by the way.
It's just Durant and Halliburton are going to run shop 2-on-5 all day.
Mr. Roberts, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. It's been lovely to catch up with you on the pod. And there's a rumor that you will be joining us again here soon for the other thing you tend to do on the Morgan Podcasting Network so often. If there is a draft, Matt Roberts is usually involved, and there is a draft that will be coming up very soon.
And I will probably ruin it with some kind of me trying to sneak around a rule or...
robots.
Yeah. Listen. Okay, speaking of robots, by the way, if you guys...
That happened 5 years ago, and we're all still bitter about it.
It happens, man. I have been 100% hooked on this new RoboCop video game. You can literally shoot their wieners off. It's awesome.
And with that, you've been listening to the NBA Fast Break on the Morgan Podcasting Network. Stay tuned for the Yeah We Know podcast. Man, I'm glad we're not live because I'm gonna cut this out of everything. Thanks, Roberts. No, that was good. Thank you, Roberts. Appreciate you.
And my pleasure.
Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Morgan Podcasting Network. Roberts is here with us. Chris is here. Doc Holliday is here. We are all here. We're going to talk some Slammy Awards today. But first, we have to go to the number 1. Chris King, did you know we have the number 1 John Cena fan in the podcast studio tonight? Did you know that?
I did not know that. Who are we talking about here, Jim?
We're talking about Doc Holliday himself, the Mr. Morgan never give up, always been pro John Cena. You've actually always been pro John Cena. But you love bad guy John Cena, Rod.
Oh, the promo that he cut this week was absolutely fabulous because I'll admit, when his music played and I said, really? We're opening Raw for the 3rd straight week with Cena coming out to do his thing. But then Cody came out immediately, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And then we had to wait 6 minutes for Cody to do his thing because he's now the new Roman who gets to just do the whole, everybody's got to wait while
I love your hatred for Cody.
Adores me, right? And then Cena cuts him down. Cena cuts him down with all of the things that I have been saying about Cody Rhodes for a while, things that I brought up pre-Cody Rhodes even winning the championship. Jimmy, you remember when Cody finished his story and a tear was brought to the eye of you and Chris, and you guys felt like you had never witnessed anything cooler in the history of wrestling. I told all of you, even before that WrestleMania, that what are we going to do with Cody when he wins? And what have we done with Cody since he won? And thank God, the man, the myth, the legend, John Cena came back to save Cody Rhodes once again.
He's saving Cody Rhodes, but he's going to ruin wrestling, Chris. Are you excited about this? You love people who are heels. Obviously, Drew McIntyre, huge heel. You love this.
I absolutely love this, but I'm also okay. So this is where I'm at, because you like how I'm a fan. This is where I'm at, because I love rooting against the corporate side of this behemoth, right?
Okay.
But right now, that's what I'm a fan of. Give me more of this John Cena and the final boss connection type thing, and let's ruin wrestling. This is straight out of like Attitude Era storyline for me, and that's why I love it. And normally I would be all behind Cody, but to me, everything that John Cena said is true. And I've been kind of bored with Cody. I've told you this since he finished his story. Like, I wanted to see a little bit more, and we just never got to see but this.
Okay. Well, you two just go right ahead and love your John Cena. Listen, Cody Rhodes is an American hero. All right? He finished his story. He went out and did what he said he was going to do, and now he is going to vanquish John Cena, that dastardly villain, at WrestleMania.
I hope he does vanquish John Cena, by the way, at WrestleMania. I love this Cena gimmick, and I love that it makes Cody seem interesting, but I do not want John Cena to win the belt at WrestleMania, because I think that also is just like a big dead end for story. So, no.
So it is interesting that... Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I think it's great. Oh, I think it's great because I do think he's going to retire with the belt on.
You okay?
He's going to retire with the belt on, yeah, and then it's not going to end up being John Cena's farewell tour or final year. He's just going to keep coming back next year and just be a continued heel until something happens. But that's too good of a storyline to not let us play through it. Give him the belt. Get us right up to that edge and maybe go over. Anarchy.
So, Rod, do you think John Cena wins the belt as a heel anytime this year?
No, I don't think he wins the belt as a heel.
Because I think it would be interesting if he wins that and then just leaves, right? But then obviously something makes him come back, whatever. That would be an interesting thing to have happen. But yeah, Chris, I don't see it happen at WrestleMania. I really don't. What I do, though, see happening at WrestleMania, it's interesting. This Mania has kind of gone from, what are they doing, to, there's some interesting stuff going on now. Because we have a triple threat, officially. CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns that will main event night one, because it ain't a main event night two, unless it does. Main eventing night one of WrestleMania. CM Punk, Rod, finally gets his main event at WrestleMania. What are your thoughts on this?
But that's not the favor, is my first thought. So yeah. I'm still interested from that standpoint, because I am not one of these CM Punk fanboys who's going to be, happy that he finally gets to main event WrestleMania. Because personally, I think where we need to go with this is Punk needs to be a bad guy, and he needs to embrace his bad guyness, because he basically politicked his way into the main event at WrestleMania, doing the thing that he complains for everybody else doing, right? He's a man of the people who fights his way there and earns his respect and all that. Well, you politicked and almost cashed in a favor to get yourself the main event of WrestleMania. So that'd be great, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think my guy is going dastardly at the end of this triple threat. That's where I think we're heading.
So, Chris, do you think it's too obvious that Seth Rollins actually goes with Heyman on this one? Or do you think that's going to happen? Did you even think of that, Chris?
No. But where do I start with this?
Chris hates this. Chris hates
This-
CM Punk.
This
and he
this
hates Roman
match
Reigns.
is just for you old heads. All right, that's right,
Oh!
you old heads. This is just for you long term wrestling fans,
You're
and not
24 years
for
older
us
than I am.
that didn't get to watch the. I'm talking about like see. Roman made his bones, Seth made his bones, and then the CM Punk happened all when I was out of it, right? I didn't watch any of that stuff happen.
Sure.
All of this old school beef
you
between
never
these
watched
three.
during the period where Roman Reigns was a 4-year straight champion. You never watched any of that. You never podcasted during any of that time. You never saw Roman Reigns main event of WrestleMania. You've never seen that.
Never saw him as part of the Shield. Never saw him as a partner with Seth Rollins. Not familiar with that beef as much as everybody else.
No documentary to watch, Chris.
don't
No documentary.
Care about this match, and I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, you don't care about the match.
This one is I'm the only thing that makes I'm as mad as Seth Rollins that it's a main event match because CM Punk doesn't deserve it. That's about as interested as I can be.
So weird, isn't it, Rod? Because if it's the main event of night one, it's really not the main event of WrestleMania. I mean, it's not. God, it's so weird, isn't it?
It makes sense in a way. It's like, why do we have false finishes in wrestling? It's a way that like we kind of get to walk away from the story where neither guy gets to take too much of a hit, right? So you have a CM Punk who clearly the crowd is behind, right? You have a Roman Reigns who is coming off of a historic run and still gets huge pops. And then you have a Seth Rollins who still gets huge pops, but is the absolute workman, right? We've talked about it. He's the one that goes into all the towns. He's the one that actually main events Raw. He's the one that does all the Raw segments. He's the one that pops over on SmackDown from time to time. Roman's not doing that. CM Punk's not even doing that. So it's a way that all three guys sort of get a nod. And I hope it's a way that we then pick up a story immediately following WrestleMania. Because I don't know that we're going to need a Cena Cody Rhodes rematch, but you say it every year, Jimmy. It's called Backlash for a reason, the pay-per-view after WrestleMania.
It is. But before WrestleMania, gentlemen, we have something that we like to call the Slammy Awards. The 2025 Slammy Awards are voted on by the fans. And guess what? We are fans, so we're going to vote on the awards tonight. Voting is closed, so we can't influence. We don't want to influence people. Having thousands of people go and vote for who we vote
We'd
for.
sway the lines once our picks get out there.
We would, and I'm a voter, so I can't bet on anything. It's a whole thing. Female Superstar of the Year. Now we've kind of did this with the Yeah We Knowies, but things have changed over the past couple months. Chris King, who do you think is your Female Superstar of the Year?
I gotta give it to Liv Morgan.
Okay, why Liv Morgan?
I think if you go back from last year's WrestleMania, no one has driven the women's division more than Liv Morgan.
What is she in right now?
Judgment Day.
Yeah, but what is she doing right now? I'm just asking questions.
Okay, I get what you're saying, but this isn't Female Superstar of the right now, Jimmy. This is Female Superstar of the Year.
Live in the moment, Chris. Rod, who's your Female Superstar of the Year?
Man, I'm so tempted to pick Chelsea Green just because of my undying love for what Chelsea Green does.
Is close.
And then, but I also I gotta give a nod to Tiffany Stratton. But then at the same time, I'm worried that Tiffany Stratton has been skyrocketed to the top too quickly because some of her flaws are showing through in this battle with the Queen Charlotte Flair. But that could just be my Charlotte Flair love coming out. I'm predicted to say Nia Jax here because I like the business a little bit more, and what Nia Jax has actually done for a couple of different wrestlers this year is huge, but I'm certainly not going to pick her. So I'm going to go with Rhea Ripley, and I'm simply going to go with Rhea Ripley because, okay, sure, you can call her Female Superstar of the Year, but you could also just call her one of the biggest WWE superstars, period. So I'm going to give it to Rhea Ripley.
So Bailey, love you, kid. That's not happening. Nia Jax, no thank you. Tiffany Stratton, I don't see. Io Sky's had a hell of a year. Hell of a year. People just don't care, and that sucks. Chelsea Green has been huge, though. So I actually, but Liv Morgan.
I think Chelsea Green's probably been the most entertaining, at least for me as a fan. but I still think Liv Morgan.
If Chelsea Green wins, we're going to get a lot of it's going to be awesome. She'll definitely use that. I think Liv Morgan probably.
Yeah,
is.
I'm not mad at Liv. Like if we're voting as a show, I'll go with Liv.
Okay. I should probably go down to the actual screen you're on there, Skippy. Male superstar of the year. Do we even need to go any further than just Cody Rhodes? I mean, I guess so. Male superstar of the year. Cody Rhodes, been champion all year. Roman Reigns, Gunther, CM Punk, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, or Seth Rollins. Who has had the... See, here's the thing. Is it the MVP? Is it who's had the best year? Because who's had the best year? Jey Uso's had the best year. I mean, by far. He has been the number one babyface for most of this year, and I think you probably have to give it to him. I'm going to go Jey Uso with this one. Chris?
I think I got to go Gunther. I think Gunther's been the one. He puts a gravitas on whatever belt he happens to be carrying, and I don't think Jey Uso would be getting as much love if he wasn't having to go up against an adversary like Gunther.
You don't think Jey Uso would be over if he didn't go against Gunther?
I don't think we'd be as invested in whether or not he can win unless it was against somebody like Gunther.
It's weird because and Rod, with you, I actually think his investment's gone down a little bit since he's been with Gunther, just because it's kind of been the same repeating things over and over with him. But Rod, I'm really interested.
Yeah, which I warned about. Which,
yeah, no, you're right, Chris. You're right. Rod, who you got?
I like where you were saying there, Jim, that we can't just go with superstar of the year, of the moment, the biggest name, because I mean Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns are right there, they're kind of unassailable, right? I kind of want to give a bit of a nod to Damian Priest again, a guy who's there, a guy who's hitting all of the towns, a guy who is a serviceable main event, a guy who definitely looked like it maybe was not going to be there for him, and then finally at the last second I think he's kind of found a character and he's kind of found an angle that works for him right now. But it's Jey Uso, hands down. I mean, absolutely hands down. This is a guy who was hated as a member of the Usos. This was a guy who was the right hand man. This was a guy who it was a joke that he was main event Jey Uso, and then he became actual main event Jey Uso, and everybody loves him, and people chant for him to come down and be the one who saves anybody who's getting a raw deal from somebody who's evil. It's Jey Uso.
I do like, Chris, when you said Gunther does add a little gravitas to the belts. He was the Intercontinental Champion last year up until WrestleMania, and then shortly thereafter became the World Champion. So, really, really good superstar of the year.
Well, I was going to say, let's go. Got to circle back real quick. But I'm kind of surprised that neither one of you brought up CM Punk. If we want to talk about what is a superstar in the WWE, no one's getting really more love from the crowds than CM Punk. I was just a little bit surprised.
He was hurt a lot, and he had some very good matches, but I think he was hurt too much for my vote. Rod, I actually had to tell Rod not to vote for CM Punk because we all know he's such a fanboy on that. Most memorable entrance. There's a lot of them in here. I would have to say it's Jey Uso. No. I would have to say it's got to be one of the ones overseas, like Drew McIntyre at Clash of the Castle, Sami Zayn's in Montreal. I mean, one of those. I think Drew McIntyre at Clash of the Castle, that was pretty cool. Rod is so excited he muted himself, which is fine.
I like Sami Zayn at WrestleMania with Kevin Owens and Chad Gable. A different kind of thing. I like that a lot.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool. I remember that. That was different. Good call, Chris.
Okay, the Jey Uso on Raw. I'm not sure about but the one I'm thinking of is that first time we got the shot of Jey Uso in the hallway of the arena and then coming out live with that full live stream. Was this the one they're talking about?
No.
Was that the first Netflix show?
That wasn't the first one.
Well, that's my favorite one of the year. Because that shot was awesome. As much as I'm not a Jey Uso fan, I thought that was awesome. But if I have to go with something on here, I got to go with my guy, my boy, Drew McIntyre, Clash at the Castle.
The OMG moment of the year. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns match finish at WrestleMania. That was kind of an OMG with The Undertaker coming back and everybody. Chris, what do you think the OMG?
It's got to be Dominique turning on Rhea, right? I don't think any of us really saw that coming when it did.
I don't know. The White Six killed people. That
They
was
all
kinda
came
cool.
back to life.
And the White Six left, so who knows, right? Oh,
I got New Day turning on Big E.
That was pretty big too. You did not expect that because you actually thought Big E was coming back to be a manager or something like that. You know.
I just think it's weird how the New Day turning on Big E helped legitimize the tag teams a little bit, but it kind of did. So I just think that was a big moment.
I think I'm going to agree with Chris on Dominic and Rhea and Liv. They finally pulled the trigger on it. Let's just go for that. Faction of the Year, the OG Bloodline. Chris King votes for that one. The Judgment Day, the new Bloodline. Chris King votes for that one. American Made or Damage Control. All right, Rod, who you got?
I'm going to go with the new Bloodline because the Usos got back together, Sami Zayn got back together, and then unfortunately Phil was involved. But the other four have me take the new Bloodline.
Wait, that's the OG Bloodline. The new Bloodline is
Oh, yeah,
Solo.
you're right. The OG Bloodline. Excuse me, not the new Bloodline, even though I do love Jacob Fatu.
Jacob Fatu was fantastic. Chris, who you got?
Well, I'm pretty upset Alpha Babes aren't on here, and I believe it's supposed to be Party Crashers instead of Damage Control. Can we make sure they get that typo done? But you have to go with Judgment Day, just due to the fact that somehow this is a faction that started...
It's still going?
so long ago. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a wrestler on it at another completely different promotion right now, right? That started this faction up, so it's still going strong and was a huge part of the biggest storyline of the past year. So, Judgment Day.
Our tag team of the year is DIY. Let's go to rivalry of the year. No, tag team of the year. Who we got here?
Bianca Jade.
They didn't do that much. Screw you guys.
What are you talking about?
I don't care.
It helped make Jade Cargill. It helped legitimize the women's tag team for a little while. I mean, like, what are you talking about? They were
actually, you're right. I think you might be right. I'm sorry.
Of course, I'm right.
I guess I know you're always right. Chris, why are we wrong?
Because Awesome Truth was the most entertaining tag team of the year, and you guys loved every second that they were in the ring.
That's all on our truth. That happens every year. Rivalry of the year. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre minus the bracelet. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor. Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and the Bloodline versus the Bloodline. Chris King.
I gotta go Liv versus Rhea.
That has been the longest one of the year, hadn't it? Rod, what do you think?
CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. That was theater. That was A+ stuff out of both those guys. I don't really like CM Punk at all. I don't love Drew McIntyre as much as Chris does, but that was good stuff.
Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. No one ever believed Kevin Owens was going to win, even though he should have. Yeah, I think Liv and Rhea probably get it for me, but Punk and McIntyre was also fantastic. Rod, you're gonna be you're gonna be the one to go for us on this. Superstar of the year from NXT: Oba Femi, Roxanne Perez, Trick Williams, Ethan Page, Julia, or Kalani Jordan.
I mean, unfortunately, I'm not going to go with Julia. I know a lot of people would like me to go there, right? Roxanne Perez has certainly had a nice showing in the Royal Rumble and popped up on the main roster a little bit, so you could pick her. But I think to me, it's either got to be Obi or it's got to be Trick, because both of those guys have had sensational runs down there. Great storylines involving both of them. But I'm going to go with Obi. I'm going to go with Obi Femi. Oba Femi. He's
Chris,
something else.
Is that
man.
okay with you? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, he had no idea who he is.
I don't watch this show.
He is a man, first of all. So, yeah, Obafemi. We're going to go with there. And what was our match of the year for the Yeah We Knows? We had...
it's definitely not the men's War Games match. That shouldn't even be on here.
It's the men's Royal Rumble match when... OMG is when freaking say his name and he appears. Joe Henry appeared. That was the OMG moment of the year.
Yeah, it was, but we all knew that was coming.
The Punk and McIntyre Hell in a Cell match, I think, is what won it for us, and I think that still stands. I think that stands. Chris?
That match was incredible.
No, that was great. Wonderful match.
Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles. Nice.
Sure, that was a great match. Well, that was also one of those overseas matches, which people loved. R-Truth calling Triple H Ciampa was freaking fantastic. That was really funny. Chelsea Green goes in the dumpster, not a big deal. Dominic Mysterio in the shark cage. I Show Speed with Logan Paul at WrestleMania, no. LA Knight and Logan Paul's pool, no. R-Truth wrestles with John Cena. Rabid noises from Tamatonga.
Those are great.
I love you, Solo. White 6 debut has got to be the WTF moment of the year, though. People died. Come on, guys. People died.
Yeah, that's the WTF moment for me.
Chad Gable died so El Grande Americano could live.
Social star of the year. Chelsea Green or Drew McIntyre? I'm going to go Chelsea Green, and I'm just going to put a period there.
Yeah.
Rod?
Yeah.
Chris has got to go Drew McIntyre because he likes the donut.
I mean, I don't pay attention to social media, so what am I supposed to say there?
You should pay attention to Chelsea Green's social media.
I would pick Chelsea Green.
Breakout superstar of the year, Braun Breaker, is... Oh, no, Penta. Penta's going to be, for me. I think Penta is going to be the breakout superstar of the year. Followed closely by Jacob Fatu.
Why Green. Are we not... I was going to say Chelsea or Tiffany.
I'm good on Tiffany.
Shouldn't people with belts be essentially considered a breakout for this year?
No, I'm good on Tiffany too, actually. Tiffy time's over. But Chelsea Green went from somebody that like people literally didn't care about and had no storyline to somebody that gets pops. That's huge.
I've always thought Chelsea Green's fantastic, so I think I might have been a little on the other side on that one, biased. So yeah, that's fine. Chelsea Green. I think that I agree with you. Chris, you said Chelsea Green, right?
No, I think Chelsea Green can be considered right there. Yes, I'll go with that.
All righty. Sounds good there, gentlemen.
Proving once again that I have superior opinions on this show. All right, Jimmy, you may have all of the knowledge and all of the past history, but that has clouded your brain, and people should now listen to my takes. I think that's what we just proved here.
And with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Knows podcast network. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Chris, and the man who was always right, Rod.
Goodbye, Net. Yeah.
I'm your Huckleberry. R.I.P.
My